Hi, this is 𝗬𝗲𝗹𝗶 coming to you live and direct from London, the United Kingdom. And if you are watching this interview outside of our Facebook group for social media marketing agencies, then do find the link and join in, or go to smmamastermind.com, especially if you're looking to grow or scale a social media marketing agency. Now, with that out of the way, I have a guest who's joining me from the UK, who is on the coast of Kent. Now, he helps experts like you position yourself so that you don't need to rely on organic or paid marketing to get leads. His name is Manny 𝗪𝗠𝗪, and he is the co-founder of Expert Freedom. Manny, welcome to the show.
Thanks, man. Thanks for getting my surname correct. It's honestly like deep down, it's a little thing, but it means a lot because like so many people just like mess it up, and it's like, yeah, great.
Oh, I love it. You know, people call me Abdul all the time, right? And that pisses me right off. But even clients call me Abdul. But like, yeah, no D's there. So thank you very much for joining me. It is a nice hot day in the UK. I am dripping in sweat, as people can probably see. So I'm not going to even try and hide it, right? When I clean my face. Yeah. Why don't you give us a bit of an introduction into who you are and what you do, and what is Expert Freedom?
For sure, I'd love to, man. So yeah, my name is Manny, and with my business partner George, who couldn't be on here right now, but we've started Expert Freedom a couple of years ago, and basically we started off as an agency doing like digital marketing for clients who were like trying to do coaching, launch for coaching programs, for consulting programs. So we did that, and then we got into kind of this more consulting coaching model, which is what we do today. So we're basically helping experts, coaches, consultants, online service providers, to basically build systems that can take a business to 50K a month. So that's a kind of 30,000 foot view. And the way we do that is we help them take the reliance off organic or off paid ads and mix it with one another. So instead of having like this one leg to stand on that can snap at any point, because like with an ad account, if you're running ads and getting clients, and that's the only thing you're doing, if your ad account gets shut down, your business stops because you're not getting any leads, you're not getting any clients. And with Facebook, you're on rented land, so you don't even know when you're going to get your ad account back. Same with organic, right? Because like if you take a holiday and you're getting clients, and you take a holiday or you fall ill and you stop doing organic, you stop messaging people, you stop posting content, again, it stops. So what we found out is that if you combine both, it actually makes this client acquisition process a lot easier, and it kind of hedges you against the pitfalls of both. So if you're falling ill, or if you go on holiday, your paid ads keep running and you keep getting clients, or if your ad account gets shut down, you can fall back onto your organic audience, and depending on the size, you can still scale, you can still grow. So hopefully that answers your question. If
that does, and a lot of people who are going to be watching this are going to be coaches, but also agency owners who are doing organic and paid marketing, right? What do you see as the common mistakes people are making when they are trying to acquire new clients?
Cool, good question. So, I mean, I'm not sure what most of your kind of the people who are watching this, what you're doing, but from what I see right now in today's day and age, it's like all about organic marketing, right? Because I keep seeing on my Facebook feed, like, hey, get clients without using ads and get clients without having to pay for them. So I think that's what most people are doing. And the common pitfalls with organic marketing typically are that a lot of people just don't have a clear strategy on how to actually, from doing the actions of organic marketing, posting a post, writing a post, messaging people, we don't actually know the process like the back of a hand to actually get that person as a client. So what a lot of people do is they post a content post, right? They write awesome stuff, it hits home with the clients, but they don't have a clear call to action, or they don't have a follow-up sequence, or they don't do it consistently, right? So we're doing these things and you're like spending hours writing posts, posting them, spending hours messaging people, but to no avail. There's no results on the back end because you don't have a clear-cut strategy to actually get the clients. So typically why that happens is a lot of people are just scared of rejection. Now, you might think, oh, like I'm not scared of rejection, but if you are like hesitant about messaging people, especially cold people, if you're hesitant about messaging someone who doesn't know you and striking up a conversation with them to see if you can help them, that means you're scared of rejection typically, because you don't want to be seen as a spammy person, right? And you're seen as a spammy person if you're rejected. So that's typically the biggest mistake I see people making with organic marketing and getting clients, really.
A lack of a strategy. So I suppose when someone works with a consultant like yourself, what do you kind of look at to identify easy fixes for them?
So typically what most people need is like a proven clear-cut framework they can use when doing like cold outreach, for example. So getting clients by messaging people on social media, finding out, well, obviously building rapport with them if you're completely cold, so they can actually see you as someone who is like trustworthy and wherever you're speaking to. So that's like a step number one, right? So we look at conversations with people and see what we're doing, and if that's something we're missing, then we do that. And also, it's easy to build like relationships without necessarily having to build that rapport over conversation. If you're posting and you've got this audience building up in your group or your Facebook profile, and that builds a relationship for you on a mass scale more so. So that's what we look into first. And obviously the next step is actually finding out, okay, does this person need my help? And are they like, can I actually help them? So you do that in a conversation typically, and then you figure out what the gap is. So where are we now? Where are we trying to get to? And like, why aren't they there yet? What's going on? And that reason is, then you decide like, can I help them solve this reason, this problem? Or can I refer them to someone else? Or can I just wish them the best of luck and on their way and move on to my next thing? So you decide there, and then if you obviously can help them, you offer help, you jump on a sales call. Typically that's the best thing to convert people as clients, especially on a high ticket. And then, yeah, on the sales call, typically we look into that as well and see what we're doing there and if they can fix up anything on there. For some people, that's like a major challenge, especially for the more introverted people like myself. Like, I'm not the best at sales calls. My business partner is like a wizard at that. But yeah, we work with them to fix that up as well. So depending, it's like quite sequential, right? We're not just going to say, hey, you need to fix everything. We're just going to look at, hey, like, okay, this is a bottleneck. This is why you're not hitting your $20,000 month ago or your 50K month ago. It's because of this. So that's what we typically do from a get-go.
Okay, that's great. And I know, a lot of people who are watching this, doesn't matter what industry they're in, there's a lot of posting on Facebook, and there's, a lot of organic outreach, and people are trying to apply strategies that they're seeing other people apply or talk about in Facebook groups. So, from your experience, what is the best way for someone who is an expert or knows, or is even a service provider who has some expertise, what's the best way for them to position themselves in front of their target audience?
For sure. So what's the best way to position themselves?
How would you go about helping someone who has no reach at the moment to essentially get started?
Yeah. So if you've like completely just started, no one knows who you are, no one knows about you or what you do, I would work to identify, okay, who do I actually want to get in front of? Because there's like, 2 billion people on Facebook, probably a couple of more billion on LinkedIn and YouTube put together. So depending on which platform, actually not depending on, regardless of which platform is what I meant to say, you got to figure out like, who is my ideal client? And not just like, oh, moms who are overweight and want to like lose weight, or, this like 40-year-old men who want to quit their job and start a business. Like, that's too vague. You got to be specific. Okay, I want to help like, people who are stuck in a dead-end job and are faced with wife who wants to divorce him because he's not spending any time at home with her family. So you got to go down to that kind of specific level, and you can't just guess what it is. Like what I just said is like literally just from the top of my head, but you got to actually know that these people are having a problem. So once you know that, you can use that language and you can use that situation to position yourself on Facebook. Now, how do you actually get in front of people? Well, typically, like what we recommend people doing is to use their Facebook profile, never a page. Pages, like if you try and build some kind of audience on a page, you're just fighting an uphill battle, because Facebook, first of all, has throttled your reach for people who like your page because they want you to pay for ads. And second, people see your page as a business, not as a person. So if you're trying to build an expert business, they're going to be seeing you as a person, not a business, because that's like, it makes it easier to trust you if you're a person. So you got to use your personal profile. Now you can build your audience in your personal profile, obviously with friends. So what I would recommend doing is like joining loads of groups that have your ideal clients that you identified in step 1. So you join lots of groups, you obviously interact with other comments, with other posts, you write posts yourself as well, based on the pains and the situations, the deep pains, not just the surface level shit. Like you got to go down into the deep pains of your ideal client. Like I said, the wife is about to leave him because they're not spending time with their family because they're trying to do this job, and they might be trying to start a business at the same time. It's taking all the time, right? So if you can speak to a person to that level, like your engagement is going to go through the roof. You'll have people messaging you privately saying, hey dude, like this hit home, like what's up? Like, can I get your help or something like that? And also like adding those people as friends, right? So then you start to build up your audience on your own profile. you start building up your stage almost. And then at which point you've got that momentum, you can start like building up your own group by promoting it on your own Facebook profile. I think I've seen a few people do that. I think we've got like a link on my Facebook profile to the group that we run, Tribe of Experts. And obviously, if you really want to like just do it directly, you can basically, I don't condone this, you can just message all the people in that group saying, hey, like, do you want to join my group here? I talk about this, that, the other. If you vibe with this, awesome. If you don't, like, best of luck to you. So I know it sounds spammy, but like sometimes that works. Sometimes that's like a good way to build your audience.
Just to send a direct message and say, come join my group. No, hey, hello. Remember.
I mean, if you want to, I guess, but like, honestly, like we've done that a couple of years ago because like we thought, hey, like, you know, I think a mastermind told us to do that. I'm not sure who. But we thought like that's spammy as hell, but like, hey, we'll try it anyway. We've got nothing to lose. So we did, and it worked. Like a lot of people we sent it to, I think half of them actually had a positive response. Like they said, thanks so much for this, I'll join. And the other half just like didn't vibe with it, didn't reply. Like, yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. You know what? Maybe I'll do that next time. And I'll let you know.
If it works, man. Like there's no point on trying to figure out what the stigma is about it is. If people think, oh, it's spammy, well, if it works for you, like, what are you going to do? Like, you're going to try and make people happy. You're going to do what makes you happy and build your own business, you know?
Yeah, true. No, that's great. So obviously kind of, you know, we are talking about the hybrid between doing organic and doing paid. You know, what kind of mix is right? How much organic should someone do and how much should they rely on paid to do heavy lifting?
Honestly, like I wish I could have like a really straight 3-step process for that, but it depends on the business. Because like, I'll give you a story. So last year, maybe over 18 months ago, like a year and a half, maybe, we were working with this client, and this is like when we were still doing some agency clients with some high-level clients, agency work with some high-level clients, and we were working with this guy who was doing about 30K a month from his YouTube channel. So he had posted videos for like 3-4 years before then. He built up his following. He was getting like 2,000 views, which isn't much, but those people were like really loyal. They bought from him. And he wanted to scale using paid ads. So like he wanted to replace that with paid ads. So we worked with that, and we started up his ad account, and we were running traffic. I think in the first month we spent like 10K, I think it was $10,000, and it was profitable. I think he made like 15K, maybe a bit more on the back end of sales, which is awesome for the first month, especially with all the testing involved. And we thought, great, like now we can stop doing organic and just move and scale with paid ads. And then next month his ad account got shut down and everything stopped. So we spent like 15K up to that point. Like it was profitable, it was going great, but Facebook decided like, screw you guys, you know, we'll shut you down. So luckily that client was still like doing work on his YouTube channel. He was still posting consistently. So what happened was that momentum from the organic actually kept the business going and kept making money. So he went back down to like 30 or 40K with organic. And then the next month after that, we managed to get an ad account back. So when we did that, we thought, okay, this time what we're going to do is actually use ads and the traffic we get from those ads and siphon some of that into his YouTube channel and get people to subscribe, watch his videos, and like make that a part of the process through every single step in the funnel that we go through. So obviously the goal would be to get clients from ads directly, but also people who drop off, they'd be able to go into YouTube. So that happened again. And we basically scaled up the ads to, I think it was like 20, 30K a month at one point. So by July, he was hitting about 150K a month with organic and ads together. And we kept track of this because like it's really hard to track the actual source of those leads, especially on Facebook. So we had like a third-party platform. We saw like people came from an ad like a month ago. They watched like a bunch of his YouTube videos. They clicked a few emails and then they bought. And like that happened a lot of the time. So we realized like, holy crap, this combination of organic and paid is like kind of catalyzing this process of client acquisition, because they're not just coming from ads or organic. It's not separate. It's together. Like they're both acting in unison to create something awesome. So his ad account again got shut down like in October. So like 6 months after.
What's this guy doing?
Honestly, at first it was something to do with his business manager. He had like another old ad account that must have validated his policies. That must have validated Facebook policies. And then the second time it got shut down. I'm not even sure why, to be honest, but maybe too much disapproved ads or too much negative feedback, because we managed to get it back up again afterwards for the third time. And with Facebook, you're not really allowed to do that unless it's like something minor and they just shut you down. Anyway, so we got that up, we got that ad account shut down. But what kept happening was like, he was still generating 100K a month just from his organic audience. That he was generating 30K a month. So his ads grew his organic audience to a point where he didn't even need ads to hit over 100K a month in revenue. So that's when we kind of realized, okay, like this is an awesome way to combine organic and paid. But for that kind of level and for that kind of scale, you've got to have a high ad budget, and you've got to have like a pretty established organic audience for that to kind of make sense. So we kind of in between developed different methods of combining organic and paid for like the people who are like, you know, beneath 10K a month and don't have like an ad budget of 20K a month, for example, and you don't have like thousands of people following them. So we made it so that it's a bit more direct. I can go into that if you like, or did you want to ask something else?
Well, no, I mean, you can go into that. I mean, I have other questions, but carry on.
All right, cool. So for most people, entrepreneurs who are like, you know, starting out, they finally get their organic process or their organic client acquisition working, whether that's whether that's like direct organic outreach, or whether that's like posting and then people comment, or you message them and then they message you or whatever. So whatever gets that working, we basically work with those people to set up ads to fuel and supercharge that organic process with warm inbound leads, meaning we figure out a way to get their ideal clients to raise their hand with an ad, through an ad, sorry. You know, we have specific ways of doing that, because you can't just put something out there and expect the right people to join. You got to figure out and like kind of reverse engineer what asset is going to make the right people join and opt in for your whatever it is you're doing from an ad. And then we basically get those people into your like organic pipeline, onto ManyChat or onto your Facebook Messenger or whatever it is, and get them messaging you. Because now at this point, right, if you imagine there's this person messaging you who saw your ad, who resonated with a copy, opted in and got your, you know, lead magnet, VSL, or whatever it is you're offering, watched it, consumed it, and now we're messaging you saying, hey, like, hey, Manny, or hey, Abul, I'm struggling with this. How can you help me? Or something along the lines of that. Right, so that makes that organic process a hell of a lot easier, because like half the time on cold outreach, you're spending like messaging uninterested leads who are never going to buy from you, and the other half you're trying to get the people who might buy from you interested enough, and trying to have like this long ass conversation that takes ages. So when at this point you're getting warm inbound leads, like that's all done for you. That's like, they're warm already, they want your help. So all you just got to do is like figure out where they're at, if you can help them, and book them on a call.
Awesome. Thank you for laying out that strategy. I mean, final question for you, because I don't want to keep you much longer than we agreed to.
All good.
People who are starting out, they haven't built that organic audience. I see people asking this in Facebook all the time, and this doesn't matter if they're a coach, expert, consultant, agency owner. Should they invest money in paid ads to build that organic reach? Or is it better for them to do value posts and kind of do the one-on-one outreach to build their organic following? From your experience, you know, some people say, for example, if you build a group based on Facebook ads, the people do not engage. So, I mean, from your expert level view, what kind of approach works best to kind of build that initial audience?
Build that initial audience. So I wouldn't say never use ads as a fix for organic. Like, it's not going to replace organic. It should be used in unison with organic. And if you're running paid ads and your organic isn't working, like, you're going to run out of money really, really quickly, and it'll be worse than you are now. So don't do that. But to build your organic audience, like, it does take time, unfortunately, and unless you've got like a lot of cash saved up that you can use to run paid ads and like build a group or build your audience. You know, there are different ways of like doing organic outreach. There's like the really direct way where you just like literally cold outreaching to every single person who seems to fit your target audience and like get clients that way. It's a lot of grind work. You need like a pretty strong mindset and pretty thick skin to do that, because you're going to get rejected a lot. But it does work. Like, we've done that, I think, in our first couple of months of unofficial business, when we were transitioning from an agency to this consulting model. Like, we were just like messaging people who seemed to be the right fit. We got like 2 or 3 clients at 5K a client in the first month. That was like firing on all pistons or cylinders, whatever the saying is. So there's that way, but there's also this more indirect way of like, which is a bit more long-term, like building up your audience, posting like valuable content on your own profile. But if you don't have a following on your own profile, doing it in other groups that have, like, obviously you don't want to hijack the group owner. You want to actually give value and follow the rules. But that way you build your self-recognition, and people start adding you as friends. They start engaging with you. You can start adding them, interacting with them. And obviously, like, that you know, first day you might not do anything. The first week you might get a couple of followers or friends. First month you might get a couple of hundred, and then first, like, you know, 6 months to a year, you're like this, you've got this audience of like 2,000, 3,000 people who love you, who are engaging with you and see you as the expert in the field. So obviously, like, I wouldn't say you have to spend a year doing that. Like, once you've got an organic process that, okay, they came in here and I've got them as a client, like, all organically, this process, like, I've done it 2 or 3 times now, then you can start thinking about running paid ads to it, I reckon. As long as it works, and as long as, like, you know, it's,
okay,
you put in A, you get B.
Great, great. I mean, I want to tag you to the video so people can find you anyway. But if they want to know more about Expert Freedom and what you do and how you can help them, where's the best place to find you? Do you have a YouTube channel? You know, where can they find more?
So right now we're actually just going ham and like planning out loads of stuff for our Facebook group. It's called Tribe of Experts. If you go on my name, there should be a link either in my cover photo or in my bio. It'll be evident, I'm sure. I've done something there to make it really obvious. But so if you click there, you can request to join. We've got like 2,000 members in there, and we'd love to have you share your own expertise, learn from other people, and obviously if you have any questions, ask us on there as well.
Awesome, that's great. And this interview has been very useful for me as well, because, you know, as you say, you always need that hybrid approach. I've always been a paid ads guy, and suddenly recently I've seen the value of organic, you know. But as you say, it's work, you need to do it. But once you combine both, that's when you probably see that exponential growth. So Manny, thank you very much for your time.
Man, it's been a pleasure to be on here. Thanks very much for having me.